Welcome, Marcy and Debbie with the Cour Experience. We are so happy to have you here with us at Empowering Educators Summit, transforming learning pathways through uniting mind, body, and spirit. And you are definitely doing this sacred and important work in the world. I would love to have you introduce yourselves and tell us about who you are and prepare us for the presentation that you're going to present.
All right. Thank you, Jill, for having us. We're super excited to be doing this with you today. And thanks for all your hard work and helping to promote all of our companies. So that being said, my name is Debbie DiManno. I am the current CEO and co-founder of Cour Experience. And I have Marcy Mitchell, my better half. She is the COO and also co-founder of Cour Experience, and you're going to get to know her a little bit later in the presentation. So with that, Marcy, why don't you bring it up?
Okay. Okay, you seeing it okay?
Yeah.
Yes,
All right.
All right. So what is Cour Experience? So there's a lot about Cour Experience that we'd like to share with you today. We only have about 30 minutes here. So we'll get to the highlights of who we are, how we got here. I'll talk a little bit about our why. And what we're doing throughout our communities and across the U.S. So
that tagline, healing communities, one person at a time.
I think that's the only way we can do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So just a little bit more about myself and my why. So my background is in exercise physiology. I've been in the medical space for almost 30 years. About 7 years ago, my husband said, okay, it's time to go do something that you're passionate about, go and do your purpose work. So I went out and I got certified as a 200-hour yoga teacher trainer. I'm SEL certified. I'm certified in meditation and also around trauma-informed training. So with that, I had some health issues as a result of some trauma in my childhood. For those of you who are familiar with trauma and ACEs, I have a 10 on the ACE score. So for those of you who don't know about it, go check out ACEs. It's super important for all of our youth and the work that we all do here. So with that, I have used a lot of the tools that we're going to be talking about today. I've used them for my own wellness and my own healing. And I'm very passionate about all of these and how they can help our youth and in fact, help all of us to do some healing. And then about 5 or 6 years ago, my daughter was in a car accident and she developed her own trauma. She developed what's called POTS syndrome, postural orthostatic tachycardic syndrome. Essentially creates a disjoint between your heart and your brain, an incoherence, if you will. And we decided to use heart math and heart brain coherence. We went to an institute in Texas, actually, and got some very high level training around us. And she's doing very, very well as a result of the training. So I'm a big believer in so many of the modalities that we teach.
Excellent. And we are going to feature heart math, actually.
Yes, I heard about that. Yes, so we're gonna do heart math on a very high level here. So, okay. So it's not only Marcy and I, but a whole team or tribe, if you will, of men and women who have come together. This original group came together around a book called Rising Strong with Brene Brown. And we decided that we needed to come together around a purpose and to rise strong. So this is where we are. We came together with this company, but we also are supported with PhDs, psychologists, medical doctors, LCSWs. We have superintendents of schools. We have a whole host of people around us who support these tools and have helped to bring this project to fruition. So we originally started out as core training, and we used to do live trainings at the local community college. You can see this is one of the workshops that we did. So this was about 6 years ago, and we just were having a ball with these workshops. We did drum circles and journaling and art, nutrition, hydration, sleep time. I mean, all kinds of things. It was like a 2.5-hour day workshop that we did. And we also did parent training, which was amazing. So in 2019, we became a 501c3 nonprofit organization. And at that point, we sort of coincided with the pandemic.
One second, sorry.
Go ahead.
I don't know if that was interrupted. Okay, sorry.
I didn't see anything.
Okay.
So along with the coming of our nonprofit, we also got hit with the pandemic, and we decided to make a hard shift and to bring all of our modalities and training onto a platform. Go ahead, Marcy. So just a little bit about our mission. Our mission is to reduce stress, anxiety, depressive symptoms, and ultimately suicidal ideation in our youth. And our vision is to imagine a world where our youth are empowered and to thrive. And I think these are go along with your mission and vision, probably, Jill, and everyone else that we've been working with, right? So
transformative change agents who hear the call and are responding.
Disruptors.
Yes.
So in case you hadn't heard or hadn't turned on the news, there's an emergency declaration for our children and adolescents around mental health. So this is not only local for the state of California, but it is a federal mandated crisis right now. So there's a lot going around. There's funding that's going around. State of California, in fact, Marcy and I have applied for some of this funding right now. There's isolation grants that we're attempting to get and use to further our training. So Marcy and I have known that this has been going on for a long time, but the coming of the pandemic has exacerbated the situation in our kids. So what are core tools? So core tools are originally were created to be used in wellness rooms on the campuses. So in California, a lot of the schools were given money, and they actually set aside these rooms where go and they could sign themselves out for 5 or 10 minutes, just go, get a drink of water to ground themselves and help to self-regulate themselves. A lot of them were having panic attacks around testing and various other things that were going on in the classroom. So we took this platform and our tools, and we put them into the wellness, and the kids can check themselves out with headsets and use some of the tools. Tools can be used outside the wellness rooms. They can be used in classrooms. those at the schools, the supervisors at the schools can also take these tools and use them to educate their teachers. So, so what are the different tools that we teach? So we teach meditation, bilateral tapping, heart-brain coherence, or as Jill mentioned, EFT or emotional freedom technique, or just tapping, also journaling, doodling, and then some of the expansion pieces that we have are SEL tools that they can use. We also do nutrition, hydration, and some of the other things that I've mentioned. So within the tools on the platform, we've done a lot of work to make sure that these are interactive and they're playful to be able to use. So we have animated instructional videos which show the kids how to use the tools. We have areas for reflection, which is important for the social emotional learning. So the kids are having time to reflect on, you know, is this working for me? Because not every tool works with every kid, right? Some will use different tools depending on how they feel about them. There's lots of explanations around the efficacy of each one of the tools. Each one of these tools are scientifically based, but are non-clinical. So we want to be sure to let people know we are not doing therapy. We are not psychologists in this, but essentially using tools that are heart-based and experiential. Also, we have mantras embedded into the tools themselves. And then we have surveys, which are super important. As I mentioned to you earlier, Jill, these surveys are set up so that we get feedback around the program, so we know what's working for the kids and what's not, so we can continue to update our platform and our programs. And the surveys are also used so that those using it, the students or whoever's using it, can get biofeedback. So as they do the tools, they can use the survey, and the survey tells them whether they're doing better or worse. And so that continual feedback lets them know, or starts to tell their brain, these tools are working and I'm going to keep using them and using them and using them. And so that's another important piece of the surveys. And then we have, in addition, a lot of supporting PDFs. So those instructors who are super competent and perhaps have used these tools in the past can just use some of the PDFs that we've created so that they can use them in their platform, you know, or use them in their schoolroom outside of the platform. And then again, as I mentioned, these are all trauma informed, and we use SEL guided standards. So that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Marcy. She's going to give herself a little intro and then get into sort of some of the meat of the tools on the platform.
Thank you, Debbie. Okay, so again, my name is Marcy Mitchell, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer and Curriculum Specialist, and I am one of the founders of Cour Experience. I want to talk a little bit about why I'm so passionate about what we're doing here. I do have two sons that are adult, fully grown now, but both who have dealt with since a young age and continue to deal with depression and anxiety. And my younger son is a transgender male. He is also diagnosed with Asperger's, so on the autism spectrum. He had a lot of challenges in school, especially as he got older. And by the time he got to high school, I was regularly getting calls from the school to come pick him up because he was crying in the counselor's office. And, you know, when I say counselor, that was really the person who helped choose classes and helped you get into college, not a therapist type counselor. That wasn't necessarily so available at the time. So eventually he could not attend school. we were in Virginia at the time. We were in a very high pressure school system in Northern Virginia. We tried all of the alternatives, tried to find a place where he could feel safe and he could function. He's very bright, but he was demoralized. He was just broken down by a system that didn't see him and didn't support him. And so it's so clear to me that if he could have learned some of these tools, particularly in the classroom, when he was younger, he could have had more ways to center himself, to calm himself, to deal with these stresses that were driving him, to sometimes just walk off campus. And I'd get a call that he was walking home. We lived, something like 5 miles from the school. So that's one thing, is just empowering these kids. The other thing is the importance of this SEL curriculum. And I assume I'm preaching to the choir here, but this importance of teaching kids to identify their emotions, to self-regulate, to actually in the classroom, in school, it's not just reading, writing, and arithmetic. It's these kinds of tools and these kinds of embedded knowledge that are going to make them such more centered and powerful beings, and people who make choices based on everyone, not just themselves, someone who can reach out and have some empathy and have some cooperation. And so I just see now more than ever on the planet, this is what we need. And so I'm so happy to be part of bringing this to kids. And I just know that this is the change that is needed on the planet right now. And I'm very grateful to be a part of that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the tools, the specific tools that we teach kids in the platform, in the classrooms, in our workshops, starting with emotional freedom technique, which is one of my favorites. If you're not familiar, it's a very simple technique that involves tapping on different meridians throughout your body while you're speaking these simple psychological statements. And it is almost magical in releasing old ideas, old limiting beliefs, traumas. It can be exactly, Jill, doing it right now. Things that can get stuck in our cells and our very being and need to be released, need to be allowed to move on. And so tapping is a great, simple, very effective tool that kids can do anytime, anywhere. And so here's some of the statistics on how incredibly effective it is, reducing stress and anxiety by 40%, depression by 35%, and PTSD by 32%. That's all within 4 days of using it. Honestly, the first time you use tapping, you can have a miracle in your life. And I am proof of that because that's how I learned about it in the first place.
Wow.
Another tool that we use is bilateral tapping. So it's a similar, but it is based more on the EMDR clinical methodology. This is non-clinical. So this is just a way to tap like the butterfly method from one side to the other. It's something that you can also do under a desk with just your feet. If you're in a classroom and feeling anxious, we know that for a lot of kids, they don't want to do anything that's going to draw attention to themselves. But when they're in that place of ratcheting anxiety, this is something they can do. They can tap gently on their lap. They can tap gently with their feet, which I'm doing to demonstrate. You can't see it, but you wouldn't see it in a classroom either. It's very simple. It's very doable. So another just great technique that they can learn that can make a difference in their lives today. And so there have been many studies. This is a fairly new kind of technique, but many studies that show that when it is practiced, it can significantly reduce stress and anxiety levels. And that's just what our kids need. And then meditation, most all of us know what meditation is. I don't know if we all practice it as much as we should, but I know myself that when I do practice it, I absolutely see the difference in my life. It's a great way to begin your day. And some of the programs that we've got our platform in use this to start each day, whether it's a school day or it's a summer program. They take the first 15 minutes and they go through one of these 4 tools. And so meditation been shown to reduce anxiety by 60%, school suspensions by 45%. Now, if you had a tool that was that effective, why would you not be using it in the schools? Decrease PTSD by 73%. And again, this is all very rapidly, and it only gets better the more you practice it. You know, a lot of people find it challenging in the beginning, which is totally normal to quiet the mind, but the more you do it, the better you get, and you're going to have benefits right from the beginning. And then as we spoke about heart-brain coherence, that is the idea of bringing your brain and your heart into coherence, breathing through that. It's a form of meditation, but it's more specific in calming that whole body system. And with the heart, I'm sure they're going to talk about this when you have heart math, but they have sensors that you can wear that actually show the calming response that heart-brain coherence brings on the body. So also incredibly effective. Here's just some of the statistics of all the good that heart-brain coherence can do for you. And you don't need the sensors to do it. You don't need anything to do it. Those are just to reinforce to you that it is working, like Debbie was talking about. So this is a little bit about what the platform can look like. And you can access the platform from a laptop, like in a wellness room, as Debbie mentioned, or in a classroom. We had some kids down in San Diego using it on a television. They started each day, and they had kids as young as 6 years old. They would watch the core video, then they would practice together. You can also have it on a device, on a handheld device. It can be sent out and used individually. So if we could pause just for a moment, Jill.
Certainly.
Okay, so I'm just going to show you a few minutes of one of our instructional videos. This is the one for meditation. And these are created to actually teach the kids from young children to teens and above what it is, a little bit of background and how to do it. So I'm just going to play a few moments of this.
Meditation. So what is meditation? Meditation is an ancient wellness practice that focuses on awareness, attention, and compassion. In recent years, research has found that meditation can reduce stress and anxiety, improve focus and concentration, and increase feelings of calm and relaxation. The good news is anyone can do it, and it's free. It's simple to learn, but it will take practice and consistency to experience full benefits. Reflect. Are you more stressed out these days than ever before? Are you having difficulty focusing on your projects? Are you finding that you are spending more and more time on your phone and social media? Are you tired and feeling depressed more days than not? Expand.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause that there. And then I'd like to show you one of our actual tool videos that we created. And so there are several of these. So they do all of the different modalities that we talked about, the EFT, the meditation, and for some of them, there's several different choices. So kids can try different meditations. Also, I want to say that we're creating more and more of this content all the time. So we keep trying to improve the platform. So this is the one for bilateral tapping. It starts with some silence. So I'm just going to go ahead and play this for you. And kids would have their headphones on and maybe be in the wellness room at this moment while they
Welcome to the guided core tool video for bilateral tapping. Sit in a comfortable position. Now I invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you, or relax your gaze. Take several long, slow breaths, filling your belly, and exhale slowly. When you breathe in, let your belly expand instead of your chest and shoulders rising. This is deep breathing. Just let yourself relax. Relax your shoulders. Relax your back and your tummy. Continue to breathe deeply throughout this practice, comfortably at your own pace. When you're ready, you may begin tapping. You may choose to tap on your shoulders with your arms crossed, tap on your thighs, or you may tap your feet. Tap right, left, right, left, and continue. Choose your tapping position and begin tapping if you haven't already. Breathing deeply and continuously throughout this practice.
Okay, so I'll stop that there. You can see it goes on for this one's just about 3 minutes. Some of them are a little longer. Some of them are shorter, but they just seek to give these children a break, a pause to go and practice this tool. And then if we could just pause again for a moment, Jill. All right, so that's just a little bit of what the platform looks like. There's lots more content, but we wanted to just give you a little taste. And now I'm going to turn it back over to Debbie.
And Debbie, I understand that you have some gifts to share.
Yes, we do. We have a couple of gifts for you, actually. So we are providing core tools for free for 30 days. So that's support with our tools for a total of 30 days. You can take a snapshot of the QR code on the screen, or you can go to our web at courexperience.org. And there on the front page of our website, you can scan the QR code there also. Then you can practice the tools, and there's little reminders that'll show up on your phone every day to remind you to do your meditation and try out all the tools. So, so that is one of our giveaways. Also,
Wow, my goodness, that's so professional. I'm really impressed with the fact that it's actually a Hollywood movie. That's impressive.
Yes.
So there's so many things to share about. I am, first of all, impressed with the gift giving. I'm just going to make sure that we're into the gallery view here. And I wanted to just make sure that everybody understands some of the terminology that you might have used. One of the things that you talked about was biofeedback and the importance of surveys in that context. And I'm wondering, for those who might not know, how would you describe biofeedback?
Deb, I'll let you take that.
okay. So, so biofeedback is the information that we're receiving as we are having. So with CORE, I don't know if we talked about this, CORE is French for heart, experience is for the experiential training that we provide, right? So so anyway, the experience of doing tapping or meditation, as you continue to do those things, you are giving your body information, positive information, that it's starting to feel better, right? And so the more you're feeling better, the more your body wants to have the experience, right? And so there's this cyclic thing that occurs. And so that is what we have laid out. And you'll see that in the you know, are you doing these things? And then the feedback to yourself is that, yes, I'm feeling better. I want to keep doing this over and over and over again. Does that help to explain? There's a bigger technical thing around it, but I think
if I could add on that with the surveys, when the kids go in to do one of these tools, the first thing that's going to pop up is a survey that says, how do I feel right now? And it gives them a score of 1 to 5 with happy face through a sad face, basically. And then immediately when they finish the tool, it pops up again, how do I feel now? So that gives them that immediate feedback. Before I wasn't feeling so great, but yeah, I actually do feel better right now. And that's a really important piece of the platform.
And even just the value of asking, like, how do you feel? And saying, it's important, we care. We want to know, we want you to feel better.
Absolutely.
That's a big message. I also would like to just make sure that everybody's on the same awareness page of understanding the word mantra. What is it and why is it important?
So mantra is another word for affirmation. And so it's just a positive brief, usually brief, positive statement that we are helping the kids to speak. And so sometimes it's really hard for the kids to start with, I am worthy, or I can do anything. So maybe they just start with, I deserve to be happy. And they say it. And the more you say it, the more you can bring it into your cells, bring it into your belief about who you are. So we do a lot of mantras, and every one of our tools will have some mantras in it. And we give a few so the kids can pick the one that most resonates for them. But it's an effective tool to just raise your vibration and remind yourself that, yes, you are worthy, you can do this, and you deserve all the good in your life.
And it's so much about how we feed ourselves, right? Like, what are we feeding ourselves nutritionally?
Yes,
What are we feeding ourselves mentally and emotionally?
absolutely.
And you're saying, let's get conscious about it. Let's, feed ourselves well.
Yes.
Mm. And I'm very impressed with that film. How did it come to be that you participated in creating a Hollywood film?
So it's kind of a great big backstory. My husband, who was also the executive producer on the film, was friends with another producer whose son's best friend had a suicide attempt during the pandemic. They live in Hollywood, and the suicide hit close to home for a lot of people. And of course, no one in Hollywood is working. So they decided to raise a little bit of money. Friends and family were giving $100.
Friends and family were giving.
Went out and found these kids.
I'm sorry, wait a
Yes.
minute, Debbie. So you're cutting out a little bit. You're saying friends and family were giving what?
Friends and family were just giving donations to help make the film. A lot of Hollywood people were not working, so lighting people, music, sound people were coming and just showing up and giving their time away for free because they were out of work. So anyway, everyone came together. Malik, who's the man with the beautiful hair, he wrote all of the songs. So every song that's in the musical is an original, and all of the kids are non-SAG actors. So they don't even have a SAG card.
Screen Actors Guild, right?
Yes. So anyway, everyone came together, and then I was having a conversation with my husband and the other producer, and he said, I think Cour is the missing link to the film. Like we don't know much about suicide, and this is worrisome for us. And so I interviewed probably 20 kids in my basement at the house. And Kim, one of our advisors, interviewed a bunch of the other kids too. And so there's actually going to be another piece to this movie, which is all the live interviews of the kids. But I was deeply moved by idea.
I'm sorry, repeat this again. You were deeply moved.
Pandemic. And
I'm
so,
sorry, Debbie. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You were deeply moved by what? That part was going out.
Yeah, so deeply moved by the emotions of the kids I was interviewing. Many of them ended up in tears, and I was crying, and we just didn't know how deeply they were affected by the isolation, essentially. And so there's going to be a whole nother piece in the film later with just the interviews. I think we probably had 50 interviews with the kids total. So those will be available at some point for us to share with you too. But yeah, so the film is actually getting lots of accolades. It's been introduced to, I think, 20 different Screen Guild and getting awards right now. I think there was just an award I got last week. So it, again, is sort of the universe working to bring all these people together to share a story. It's the backstory of the movie itself is quite a story too. So we're proud. We're excited to be a part of it.
With good cause. I'm excited just to see it.
Yeah.
And so you're saying it's available to be seen on your website.
That's right. You can go to the media tab on our website at courexperience.org, And there's a place down at the bottom, so you'll see the trailer, which we just showed you, but at the bottom, you'll be able to just fill out a little form and it will share a link with you via email where you can watch the whole film. And it's well worth it. It's really a very, I've watched it several times. It's really a very well done film with some great music that will stay with you as well.
Excellent. From the heart, COUR is heart in French. And we really look forward to seeing that. Cour.org is this, courexperience.org is the website. We'll have the links for it with excellent gifts. And I just give you big applause for what you're doing in the world. It's so valuable. You know, when people see like feelings do matter, there are people caring, there are people connecting and reaching out, and we really can make that difference.
Thank you, Jill. We appreciate you too. Thank you for inviting us here.
Pleasure. And Debbie, thank you. I think she might be frozen.
No, I'm back.
There you are.
I haven't had issues that like for so long. I don't know why today.
Oh, Walters.
Oh, well, we made it work.
The
Thank you,
content still
Jill.
came through, and I'm really hoping to keep feeding this. I love that you have a global vision, that you are just getting going, really, and that it's going to be expanding, because this is so important, this kind of work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Blessings.
Blessings to you.
Thank you.